Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Somebody say yes. Hello? Hello?
Sorry, Arthur, we're just waiting for Yvette to join us.
Okay, but can you hear me okay?
Hold on a second.
We're gonna do something else.
Can you hear me, Andrea?
There we go. Can you hear us now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no?
Hard.
Yes.
It's a hard sell.
Okay, thank you.
It's a remote for the volume.
That one.
Let me tell you.
We'll start shortly. We're just waiting for, one of our directors to arrive, Director Perezio.
And Greg, so really good.
Yeah, yes, right, from one grade to another grade. I mean,
Just so you guys don't feel special, it was 100 degrees here today in the mountains.
wow.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're phenomenal. On contact with.
Oh, they had a suite, but they downsized to another office.
Oh,
And so now they vacated that one office. So if you know of a nonprofit that's interested in that suite of
Let's go up to the, what that thing called, let's go to the restroom. Go to the lobby, let's go up to the lobby, that's the dancing popcorn.
Time they get close, you're like,
You should do that between foundation.
Or
and that's it.
if, we'll have a video, you know, we could add one.
there's some.
Or limited
They have so many different Staffing change if it's. Yeah, so they're all local, it's crazy. Okay, we'll just roll with the punches.
Hello, Ron.
Uh-oh, oh, we can hear you, Arthur.
I know, I know.
We're ready to start now.
Right?
Ron, hold on a second.
I think we're ready, yes, sir.
All right, we'll call June 24th, Desert Healthcare District Board of Directors meeting to order at 4:05. If you get a roll call, please.
Director Perez here? Yes. Director Shore,
Yes,
Director Delara,
Here,
Director Logston is not with us, Secretary Baraza.
Here.
Vice President Rodriguez is filling in tonight for President Rogers, who is joining us remotely, and he is here. And President Rogers, can you hear us? We are doing a roll call. President Rogers, there we are. Is that a yes? You are with us? Present? Carol, are you with present?
Yes, yes, can you hear me?
Yes. Okay, we just did a roll call. We wanted to make sure you were with us. Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
can I have a clarification? Is she actually participating as a board member or is she just listening in?
It's my understanding that she's participating as a board member. She provided her address, and all directors know that they are supposed to post the agendas at their locations, which is why we include their address on the agenda.
I don't see it on the agenda.
Yeah, okay.
But doesn't she have to show herself on the camera to be, wasn't there a recent change that you had?
No, you can, the traditional method, it's just teleconferencing, so you don't have to show yourself.
Okay, I
You
thought
can,
it was.
you can actually either dial in on the, like tomorrow or Thursday, one of the board members is dialing in because we don't, he's not going to be able to Zoom, but no, that's as long as you can do that. And then it's hard for her to chair the meeting.
Yeah, I
in a
understand that.
Zoom setting.
I just remember seeing something, but maybe it was just,
No, it's a fair question.
Someone's internal fault.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Acting Chair.
Right, for the pledge of allegiance. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Entertain a motion for approval of the agenda.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Any opposition or abstentions? Okay, this time we'll move to public comment. Get the verbiage, which is not on the agenda.
Are you gonna approve the agenda?
Oh, I guess, yes.
Is it what we just did?
No, we did that.
No, we just approved the agenda.
We just voted on that.
Okay, I'm sorry. Then can I just, I thought we were gonna make the change for the presentation to not be,
First, we have to go through the public comments for item. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Oh, to change the,
the order.
okay.
We're just not aware when she's going to come in.
It just took, so I will, just to clarify that we will interrupt our meeting to take the presentation of that item out of order. Thank you.
On F1.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, this time we'll take public comment. Comments from the audience may be made on items not listed on the agenda that are of public interest and within the subject matter jurisdiction of the district. The board has a policy of limiting speakers to no more than 3 minutes. The board cannot take action on items not listed on the agenda. Public input may be offered on agenda items when they come up for discussion and/or action. And I know we have Erica here. Public comment. Take the best first.
switch the camera. And please announce yourself and your role.
I will. Thank you very much. Staff, board members, here and on Zoom. My name is Erica Felche, and I'm the Chief Operating Officer of CVAG. We are the lead agency for CV Link. The district has been a longstanding and valued partner in the project, and I've been to many of your meetings over the years, so it's nice to see you again. However, I was surprised to hear some misinformation and misconceptions shared at your last meeting, including the suggestion that CV Link was an example of government overspending. So I'm here to clear up any confusion. CV Link is projected to cost between 135 and 140 million with construction wrapping this summer. Yes, this is higher than the $100 million estimate that we made almost 14 years ago because costs have gone up. Frankly, it's impressive that we're this close to our original estimates, especially since we couldn't have anticipated a COVID pandemic or skyrocketing costs related to shipping or extreme inflation. Based on Caltrans's index, transportation projects have gone up 59% in the last 4 years, meaning our project would be at least $160 million if we bid it today. Now, Caltrans is a metric. Real life examples indicate it could be even higher. Look at Interstate 10 in Monroe, which CVAG is a project partner on. The interchange is now projected to cost us $177 million as compared to an estimate that was in the mid-80s just a few years ago. I say that because all of our construction contracts for CV Link are publicly reviewed by our executive committee, including the mayors, including the mayor of La Quinta, tribal chairs, and county supervisors in public meetings after a public procurement process. There is no behind the scenes cost that is a surprise. We also took steps to keep our costs down, including pre-purchasing materials like the seated glass and lights, which locked in lower unit prices, and bidding the project in segments as soon as right-of-way was acquired. This allowed us to get the most competitive pricing that was available at the time, move the project along. And we're actually the first ATP project in the state to do that. CV Link is largely funded by dedicated sources, including the state's active transportation funding. That means if we had not secured it for our region, it would have gone to similar projects in other communities. This is not funding that could be shifted to other community priorities like homelessness. And I know that we never came back to this board to ask for any more money beyond the $10 million commitment that allowed us to get so far with our funding. Finally, I want to highlight the most important part of CV Link. This is more than a biking or walking path. It is the backbone of an active transportation network that ultimately is changing behaviors, inspiring folks to walk or bike because we make it easy, safe, and accessible to them. I saw this firsthand during the COVID pandemic. My son and I, he's in the back, live close to Demuth Park. It's one of the first segments that opened. And if you go out during the day, you would see families of all genders. Our last report, we'll be having grand openings in all the cities, probably in October and November. We'll be back with all the details. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Erica. Appreciate it.
And if I may add, the district is making the last of all the installment payments this month. So the last of the $1.6 million will be paid and the $10 million will be paid in full.
Any other public comments? And
No other public comments.
Point of information?
yes,
Do we-
sir.
Do we have any statistics about usage of the bike path?
There's only 2 segments open right now, correct?
Yes, did you want me to go back to the
Yeah,
podium to answer that?
please.
Sorry.
Thank you.
This is comments. Now, if you're a longtime member of these meetings, you'll know I stopped coming, started sending word because Director Shore always sends the question. It makes me come back to the podium for it. Yeah, we will have counts once we finish the construction of CV Link. As Greg noted, we have about 7 miles open. When we finish the rest of the construction, we'll be doing before and after counts. Before counts are a little bit difficult because most of the area was not well used. It was on the wash. It was not widely accessible, but we will be doing after counts, I'd say within the year.
Oh, one other question before you leave. Where I live in Palm Desert, and it appears to me that a lot of the, I'm going to call it the paint, for lack of a better way of describing the actual bike path, is fading already. What's the plans to rehabilitate that and keep it fresh looking?
If you're talking about the on-street portion, which I think you are, the segment that's along, say, some of our streets in Palm Desert, which is a little bit unique, we are working with the city to keep that going. And actually, we have an item moving forward to our own board later this month to talk about operations and maintenance of CV Link in the future. Desert Recreation District is a potential partner. We'll be bringing a recommendation to our executive committee to partner with them and make sure that the pathway is in great condition, no matter if you access East Valley. Anything else?
Thanks, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
Okay, moving on to item E, the consent agenda. Any board member want to pull anything? Thank you.
I will second.
Any further discussions? This is just an aye or nay vote, correct?
We need to have a roll call,
Yes.
please.
A roll call, okay.
Yes, so, Director Shore.
Yeah,
Ms. Gill. Yes. Director Walker.
Yes.
Attorney Baraka. Vice President Rogers.
Yes,
And our acting president,
Yes.
Rodriguez. Okay.
All right, so we'll skip the presentation for now and go to item G, strategic grant funding. The Planned Parenthood of the Pacific Southwest, bridging care gaps, expanding sexual and reproductive health services in the Coachella Valley for $236,555 for 12 months. Any staff report or?
No, I was just looking to see if there's anybody from Planned Parenthood here.
Oh, they must be online. Let's see.
I think the staff report kind of covers it.
Covers it. Any questions?
Okay,
You do
so,
have Kirsten Deck online in case they're.
so my question is, on page 21 of 26, it talks about the organization sustainability, the raters, where I think it was pointed out, there was, just, not a concern, but just noting that, that the request to that district is 50% of the budget. So Donna, is there any concerns about sustainability of the program beyond the year? Considering, the federal, but, situation and,
No, I think it was just to help with startup for this position to get started, but now that he's gonna be there full time, he'll be able to bill and get reimbursed for this.
okay, thank you.
Good question. Other questions from board member? Entertain a motion?
I will move.
Want to have public comment?
Oh, yeah, thank you, thank you. I do know how to chair, I just have to get used to it. Any public comments online?
There are no public comments.
Any public comments in the room?
None.
Okay, not seeing any. Entertain a motion.
I will move approval.
Thank you.
so moved. I second that.
Any further discussion?
I have one other thought that just popped in my mind. I wasn't really clear in the grant. Is it just one office in Rancho Mirage, or is it one office with a satellite office in Coachella? Because it mentions Coachella and Rancho Mirage.
I believe it is the main clinic is in Rancho Mirage, but they do have a satellite office in Coachella. But Kirsten, could you confirm that, please? You there?
So this doctor would be assigned to both?
Hello, this is Kirsten Deck. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good. Sorry, I had a bit of a trouble figuring out how to unmute myself. There is a health center, a Planned Parenthood health center in Rancho Mirage. There is also a health center in the Coachella Valley, in Coachella. And there are two separate health centers under the same network of Planned Parenthood Pacific Southwest. It is not a satellite. They are both brick and mortar clinics.
So, Kirsten, if I may? Kirsten, so this position that is being hired, he would split his time between Rancho Mirage and Coachella?
No, mostly he will be based at the Rancho Mirage Health Center because it is more equipped to do the kinds of procedures and services that we hired Dr. Vasquez to undertake, if that makes sense.
Okay, thank you.
Roll call
Of
vote?
course.
I think that's Carol with a comment.
no, I'm just unmuting myself.
Oh, okay, you raised your hand, so we'll,
She's ready to vote.
oh, I see. Okay, so we'll have is there any other discussion?
Nope.
So Director Forsythe? Yes. Director Shore?
Yes,
Director Delara?
Yes.
Secretary Barraza? President Rogers?
Yes,
And Acting President Rodriguez?
Yes. All right, moving to item H, reports. The first is,
Mr. Chairman, excuse me.
Yeah.
Before we move on, I just have a point of information question as it relates to the presentation that we're still going to have. Have we agreed on a time limit for presentations since our last meeting, or am I out of step?
We're suggesting 10 minutes and then allowing for questions, and hopefully that's around 15
Okay,
minutes.
thank you. I just wanted to make sure. Thank you very much.
all right, so item 1, Desert Regional Medical Center report is Mike. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't see you hiding behind the pole.
Good afternoon, everybody. The report is in the packet for everybody to review. I'd like to highlight this past month, we celebrated the graduation of our residents last year. So we graduated 30 residents, 10 from our emergency management program, 9 family medicine residents, 11 transitional year, and 2 emergency ultrasound fellows. 20% of our graduates plan to stay in the Valley. Some will be practicing physicians. Some are moving on to more specialized training. We'll actually have a new fellow, emergency ultrasound fellow out of our graduating class. And then some of our transitional year residents will be moving into other residency programs here. So it was a nice, well-attended, heartfelt event. Notably, there was a speech by one of the chief residents in the family medicine program, I believe, made a comment around, you come out of medical school and you think you know everything. And then you get day 1 of residency and you realize how much you don't know. And he gave a real heartfelt shout out to the nursing team at Desert Regional for being there to support him and his co-residents in that journey. So I thought it was nice the way he said it. And then I paid that comment forward at one of our leadership meetings in the hospital to the nursing leaders and told them about that comment. And then said, now I'd like to remind you all, we have our new crop of residents starting in July. So let's demonstrate our grace and understanding and patience with them as we help to onboard them. So just a nice event. And that segues into, we've got our new residents starting at the beginning of July. We are reopening our internal medicine program. That will be 6 residents in there. And we filled all of the slots in our other programs. Our surgery residency program will be starting its 4th year. That's a 5-year program. So that program grows from 9 to 12 residents, and ultimately it'll be 15 when we match the 5th year next year. So just nice stuff to be proud of with there. And then I'd like to highlight all of the Desert Care Network facilities participated in the Healthy Over Hungry cereal drive. We collected over 55,000 servings for cereal, between cereal and money raised. And all of that goes to the Fine Food Bank. So nice work. And then highlighting our construction, our elevator project has begun. We're replacing 2 elevators. We're getting very close to the end of our OR construction as well. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Any questions?
I'm just wondering, is there the plans for the JFK Emergency Department? Are those progressing on schedule? Is there any update on that?
I don't really have an update for you on JFK. I know there's a lot of concept designs that are out there, but as far as timeline, I can't really comment on that.
You could please check on that and just next month maybe share
Sure.
that?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Arthur or Carol, questions? But if not, thanks, Mike, for sharing.
Right.
All right, item number 2 is the Desert Regional Medical Center Governing Report. The report is in your packet. Any questions on that? Hearing any, we'll move to item 3 is the Desert Healthcare District CEO report. Chris.
Thank you, Director Rodriguez. The first item is with regard to Palo Verde Hospital Ad Hoc Committee that has been created recently. President Rogers will be the chair, and also serving on that committee will be Secretary Barraza and Director Delara. And so this was created as an effort to collaborate with other stakeholders regarding the Palo Verde financial challenges that they're having with the hospital, and that's in Blythe, and the concerns around that hospital potentially closing. And so there's a lot of concerns around that, and also the healthcare district board and issues that are going on there as well. So we're convening a meeting next week with several stakeholders, including Michelle Finney with Desert Care Network, and our several of our lawmakers, including the Congressman's office, as well as Assembly Member Gonzalez, Board of Supervisors office, and also Senator Padilla's office, as well as the LAFCO office. So just a meeting there to try to understand what kind of support or involvement our healthcare district can participate with, if any at all, and how we can help be a support along the way through any of this process, and helping the hospital either survive or provide support to the hospitals, as they're going to be incurring, which I believe they already are, patients that are coming from the Blythe area. So that's information on that for the board.
Any questions? I just note that I know that the county is working with Tenet as well and other stakeholders. Might be something after this meeting that you have, if there might be a good idea to maybe combine those efforts, just so that there's a lot of different communications even within the county about what's really happening, and sounds like there's turmoil with the board and all that stuff.
Any way we can collaborate, assist.
So we'll see what comes out of the meeting next week, and then I'm happy to facilitate that connection.
Thank you.
Possible. No, Michelle. Or, Linda.
Just, Cal Verde does have another meeting tomorrow night scheduled to discuss it, and part of that is to pass a resolution for fiscal emergency, knowing that they've only got about 2 weeks of cash on hand. And LAFCO actually called a meeting on Thursday, added it to the request of one of the Blythe council members, just to determine what assistance, if any, or role they would play based on what should happen to Palo Verde. But it does remain just an ER open, triage and transfer, and glad that RUHS still has a clinic out there to help see how patients taking transfers as needed.
And I think I was understanding from an article I read recently, also in the media, so I don't know how true it is, but understanding that they were able to reduce their budget for the year from about 10 million down to 4.8 million. And I think they're hoping for the 4 million to come from the state that the congressman asked for, which would leave them still a deficit of about 800,000. But again, that's only for the 1 year. So there's definite concerns there. So however, the collaboration of stakeholders can be to assist in that process that we can, would be our desire and goal.
Good, thank you. All right, item B.
Any public comment?
Oh, I'm sorry, thank you. Any public comments at all?
There are none.
Item B, the strategic planning consultant.
Yeah, so this is just an update to inform the board where we are at staff-wise. So if you recall, at the last board meeting, we gave an update there that there were there were 5 consultants that were originally considered. And coming out of that meeting, we selected 4 of those consulting firms to do some further interviews and questioning with. And so staff, including Donna and Megan and I, interviewed those 4 consultants last week. During that process, we eliminated one of the consulting firms. We just didn't feel it was a good match for what we were looking for. And so we're bringing at the July 10th special board meeting, the actual interviews and presentations from the 3 remaining consulting firms for the directors to then weigh your decisions, and then ultimately we'll have a final vote at the July board meeting on I forget the date, but the regular board meeting in July.
Any questions from the directors?
So Since you and your team already interviewed, will you share some of that information with us prior to us interviewing them? Like some kind of a matrix of the pros and the strengths and the weaknesses of some, that way we could have some, going into it, we'll be able to be a little bit better prepared to address some of those questions?
Yeah, we can provide an update like that, and then you'll also receive their updated proposals as well in advance. So we're trying to get, those all assembled so that we can submit those, say, a week before the actual board meeting, so that you'll have opportunity to review those, and we'll provide some feedback from staff level as well.
I think I would really appreciate the staff, input beforehand to be able to understand their proposals a little bit better with having that feedback in advance. Thank you.
And some of the questions that we asked is, and this was coming from board input as well, is, trying to get an idea what their estimated travel expenses would be for the project. Because some of the consultants they're not local, they're coming from other parts of the country. So we've asked for inclusion of that, and also essentially like a best and final offer as we've gone through some questions and kind of getting more on the same page so that we're understanding the needs from both sides. So I think we'll have, some really good, we really like the three. I think we have kind of our thoughts on who we like the most, but we're not the ones that make the decision. So our job is to present to you the three qualified candidates, and we'll provide, some of our feedback as well.
Question?
Yes, Dr. Director, sure.
Were the people who were interviewed the people who would do the actual facilitation of the event, or were they just representatives of the company?
No, they're the leads on the work that's going to be done. So they're the actual people. They may have other team members that are supporting it that may not have been on the call, but the prime, the leadership of the facilitators were on the calls.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Any public comments on this? All right, moving to item C is the California Special District Association Annual Conference.
Yeah, so these next two or three items are more informational for the board to understand more. We have had, some verbal comments or communications about some of the annual meetings that are coming up this year. And so the first one is for the California Special Districts Association Annual Conference, which is coming up in Monterey over August 25th and 26th. So we just wanted to make that available to you. So if anybody has interest, that we're contacting Andreas so we can get all of that registration coordinated. And the same for item D is for the Association of California Healthcare Districts, ACHD, their 73rd annual meeting, 24th to the 26th. September 24th is a Wednesday, right after our board meeting on the 23rd. However, the 24th is more of the board of directors meeting for ACHD is in the afternoon. So the meat of the annual meeting is on Thursday and Friday, but it is available for those that want to go for the Wednesday afternoon session. So we did not feel it was necessary to reschedule our board meeting for September. And then item E is the California Hospital Association Behavioral Health Symposium in Sacramento, December 8th and 9th. So that's there available for information. So if there's any consideration for attending, you can plan accordingly.
Any question?
Chris, you mentioned that these are just informational items. When we had some of the other conferences, we actually took action on them, but are these different because we have attended them in the past, that they're just informational? Or,
I mean, we can have them as action items, even though they're not listed as action items on the agenda. I don't know, but we've traditionally attended them, so that's why we didn't put them as action items. They were more reminders for those that were wanting to attend.
I think just my understanding was that we have attended them in the past, but the recent action was to actually act on conferences that came after last year. So that's why I'm just now thinking that to be consistent, that should we just do it? Unless we have a policy that once we go to it one time, that it becomes routine, but I don't think it's routine right now.
Yeah, you have a policy that if you have a number of these organizations that you're members of,
Okay,
and that basically, I think this has brought, I don't know what I'll be doing in, December, but this gives you an opportunity to sort of plan your schedules. And I'm sure that if you want to participate in this conference, then just let Andrea know. But we have a policy that allows you to.
okay, thank you for that clarification.
Yeah, and especially CSDA and ACHD, which we are members of.
Any other questions from the board? Any public comments? All right, moving to item F is the Healthy Desert, Healthy You Environmental Health Summit.
So in your packet is an update regarding our summit for the year, which is being scheduled for September 11th and 12th. We just wanted to give you a bit of an update. In the packet is the agenda. We've got several agenda items which we feel will be very inspirational. We're doing a one-day, essentially kind of conference type session. Last year we did a day and a half. This year, the second day on the 12th will be tours that are being set up and scheduled. And we're actually really very excited about the program that's developing, our internal committee that's working on developing the speakers and the topics. And, we've too many of us to name, but there's several staff members as well as our production manager, Jeff Hawker. I think it's coming together well. If you haven't looked at the website related to the event, please, we welcome you to look at that, make sure that you're registered. And, the budget's coming together pretty well. It's been somewhat of a challenge this year with all the financial concerns with organizations going on with being able to get sponsorships. However, we're at this point fairly close to meeting our budget. We may consider opening up additional registration. That's going to be the bulk of our cost, is like the food and beverage part of it. That's kind of variable costs. So we'll kind of see how that plays out, but just wanted to give you an update on the status of things so far. So.
Any questions? Any public comments on this? Item G is CEO engagements and district media visibility. Of course, it's in the packet. Want to highlight anything on that?
I'm sorry, forgive me.
That's okay. Item G, the CEO engagement.
Oh,
it's in the packet, but
it's all there in the report if you have any questions.
Any questions?
Okay, I just want to make a comment on the item for that you did the welcoming for the Empowering Resilient Youth Data Walk. I just want to comment that staff did such a great job in getting a great turnout, that many that was reported on the program committee later, but 62 participants and 40 organizations. That is such a great turnout, and the job of putting all the information around and really encouraging the engagement. So I just want to give acknowledgement to all the team for doing a really good job, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that comes out.
Yeah, and it was unfortunate that I couldn't stay for that event today. We had audit going on and we had some staff issues as well. So I had to be back to the office to attend to our audit functions. So sorry that I missed it, but I did get catch up on how the meeting went, and it was very successful. So thank you.
Any questions? Public comment?
No public comment.
Okay, item number 4, Mr. Scott.
We got Assembly Bill.
Yeah, item H, the Assembly Bill
Yes, it's not on the printed agenda.
259.
It's not?
No, it's okay though. I got it here on the regular one.
It's a letter of support. It's related to Assembly Bill 259, sunset elimination for the Modified Brown Act meeting procedures, which passed the Assembly and is in the Senate now. And so we're bringing a letter of support for consideration by the board to submit in favor of that.
Any questions? I'd entertain a motion.
I'll move approval.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Seconds. Any further discussion?
Second.
Do we need a roll call on this?
We do, each and every item according to our.
Oh, that's right. We determined that.
So
Do public comment?
Oh, no, public comments. Thank you.
there are no public comments. Thank you. Director Perez-Gill,
Yes.
Director Shore,
Yes.
Director Delara,
Yes.
Secretary Baraza,
Yes.
President Rogers,
Yes.
and Acting President Rodriguez.
Yes. All right, now we'll move to Mr. Scott.
Thank you very much, Director Rodriguez. I will confine my report to closed session.
Moving on to sponsorships. Number 1, the bullying, $1,000 sponsorship.
Thank you. So the first item is Boot Bowling. We did provide $1,000 sponsorship for this organization and this exact event last year. And so we received another request this year that we would like to present to the board for consideration.
Any questions? Great organization. I'd entertain a motion to accept staff recommendation.
Make motion to approve.
Thank you. Second,
Second.
thank you. Any further discussion? Any public comments? Seeing okay, enter.
No public
Take a
comment.
roll call vote.
Director Perez-Gill,
Yes.
Director Shore. We can't hear you. You're muted.
Yes.
Okay, Director Delara,
Yes, with the clarification that it will be one of the items listed on the budget.
That'll pay for one of the items that's listed on the budget.
Yeah, is that okay with the maker of the
Yeah.
motion and the second? Okay, thank you.
and Secretary Baraza, President Rogers,
Yes.
and Acting President Rodriguez.
Yes. Item number 2 is the LGBTQ Community Center of the Desert, their 2025 center stage for $5,000 partnership patron.
Yeah, so this is a sponsorship request that we're bringing to the board for consideration, please.
Been sponsored before by the district too, hasn't it?
Correct.
Yes. Any questions, Rob? Any public comments?
There are no public comments.
Entertain a motion to accept staff recommendation.
I will move approval to approve $5,000 for either the DJ expense of $5,000 or the graphic design of $62,500 towards that $6,500. Just to be consistent with how we've
Have we
done
done it
before.
Okay.
So just to specify what it would be going for.
Second,
Second.
thanks. Any further discussion?
Just for clarification, is it better for us now that we're kind of establishing this, that we come then as part of our recommendation that we commit the dollars to specific budget line?
Yeah. Yeah. And no public comments, so Andre will do a roll call vote, please.
Director Perez-Gill,
Yes.
Director Shore,
Yes.
Director Delara,
Yes.
Secretary Baraza,
Yes.
President Rogers,
Yes.
and Acting President Rodriguez.
Yes. All right, moving to item J, committee meetings, the Legislative Policy Committee. Everything's in the packet, but Kimberly, you want to add?
We can send packet minutes. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Any questions from board members? Any public comments on this? I'm just gonna add, I think just the two we've had have been like really productive.
Right.
And I think it was a really good move to create this committee. So thank you for the idea. Appreciate it. So. All right, item number 2 is the Finance, Legal, Admin, and Real Estate Committee. Director Delara, any or highlights?
No highlights other than the documents are on the agenda. If you have any questions, I will be happy to address them.
Any questions from the board? All right, moving to item 3, the Program Committee. Director Redfield, the highlights.
We do have a grant that was sent to the board for approval.
Item number E.
Yes. Or for Clínica de Salud del Pueblo DBA Care, Coachella Valley Health, over a 3-year period.
It's not.
Actually, that's what that is an information item. Just to update from the program committee that direction came from the program committee at that point was to work with Intercare in developing some contingency language and working with legal counsel, contingency language that will allow that grant to be presented in July, along with the finalization of the staff's due diligence work, and present in July to the program committee, and then ultimately anticipated to go to the board as well.
Any questions on program committee items? I do need public comments.
No public comment.
All right, we'll move to item K, board member comments. Any board member comments at all? Not seeing any. We technically convened the closed session after the foundation, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Do we have a presenter?
Not here
She's not
yet.
here. She said she'd be joining us at 5 o'clock. So,
Should we take the
The time is off right there. So I was 5:47.
I don't know, maybe she is with us. She's just a second. Is Mariella with us?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
welcome.
So we'll go back.
Hi.
We'll go back to the presentation.
Thank you.
Perfect timing.
The time is yours. We'd like, maybe no longer than a 10-minute presentation, or if there's any questions or comments from the board. So thank you.
So I actually unfortunately didn't have the time to put together a PowerPoint presentation or a video. So I'm just going to present as I'm speaking to you through this meeting. But my name is Mariela Magaña. As you all know, you all have given me a scholarship to do research in the past. I recently graduated from medical school, and I'm currently on my 3rd week of residency. So I decided to pursue family medicine, and I'm currently at Scripps Chula Vista in residency. So the reason why I wanted to talk to you all is that now that I am on this other side of being a doctor and having gone through this medical journey, I think I would hope that I could share my journey, and I could probably share some ideas as to how the Desert Healthcare District can support local students who, like myself, come from unprivileged backgrounds who are pursuing medicine. So I'll just share a little bit of my journey. So I attended Coachella Valley High School, graduated second in my class, and I went into UCLA. However, being a first-generation student, I did struggle. Being a pre-med, I was a biology major. So I graduated from UCLA, with a lot of clinical experience. At UCLA, I worked at an HIV clinic, and I also did volunteering at Ronald Reagan and Santa Monica Hospital. However, because I decided to work because I wanted to provide for myself and not depend on the financial support of my farm-working parents, my grades were hurt by that. So I graduated UCLA in 2010, and I've been wanting to be a doctor since I was in 6th grade. I had a really good science teacher who introduced me to medicine. And that was always the plan. But when I graduated UCLA, I didn't have the science GPA to apply into medical school. So that kind of led me into a different path, what we call an untraditional path. So I ended up doing a unofficial postbac through UCLA Extension while I worked full time. So some of you I've met throughout the years because I was working at one point in the Coachella Valley as a policy advocate, and then with Live to Rise as an implementation manager. So during that time, I took basically math and science courses after working full time. So usually the classes would be around like 7 p.m. and they would end around 9 p.m. And then during the daytime, I would work full time. So that took about 6 years for me to get to a point where I felt comfortable with my science GPA and applying into medical school. So I ended up matriculating into medical school in July 2021. I ended up being admitted to AT Still University, which is an osteopathic medical school in Arizona. They have a collaboration with San Isidro Health, which is in the South Bay of San Diego County. San Isidro Health is a FQHC. So what that means is that I completed my didactics in Arizona, but then the last years when I was doing my clinical rotations, I was at this FQHC in San Isidro. And so I really wanted to, talk about these experiences that I worked at a FQHC with doing my clinical rotations. A lot of these patients, were medical patients. And so having had that experience, I do feel like the Coachella Valley would benefit from having similar partnerships like San Isidro Health has by having medical students rotate at our local FQHCs and potentially having a residency program, which is where I'm going to go after. So during medical school, I knew I wanted to continue to be involved in our community, which is why I ended up reaching out to the Desert Healthcare District to see if there was any funding opportunities to do research, of which I presented last year around April, March. And so that research really highlighted the need for more physicians or medical providers. And so what I wanted to talk about is my kind of vision of how the medical journey works and just kind of share some ways in which the Desert Healthcare District can create more opportunities or create more resources for people who are pursuing medicine. So the first phase I would say is kind of from the first time that somebody is interested in pursuing medicine, it could be as early as elementary school or middle school to the point that they graduate college. And so what is it that we have to work as a community to build the infrastructure is, creating mentoring programs, sponsoring like programming at local schools that encourage local students to pursue careers in medicine or healthcare. The second phase would be the postgraduate. So once people graduate from college to the time that they matriculate into medical school. So in order for you to apply to medical school, you have to take an admission exam, which is the MCAT. And the MCAT tends to be a barrier to a lot of applicants, especially individuals who have and share similar backgrounds as me. Most of the individuals end up taking the MCAT twice. And so, as a district, I think you could create or partner up with One Future and see if you guys could provide MCAT scholarships to pay for the exam, but also MCAT review courses. Some of these courses are a couple $1,000s. And so for someone who, doesn't come from a family who has a lot of financial support, it becomes a lot of money that needs to go into studying for this exam, and it becomes a barrier. Other things is creating a scholarship program for local residents who are going to medical school. I know, we have the local medical school, UCR, but, some local medical students are not necessarily going to go to UCR. So like thinking of ways in which you could also provide scholarship to those who go to other medical schools in the country. The other barrier to being admitted to medical school is submitting an application. And so there's a lot of components that go into the medical school application. And so creating, again, a mentoring program or some sort of review committee that looks into all the components of an application so that when somebody applies, it's an actual strong application that ends up in a matriculation to the medical school. Now, in medical school, it's a great accomplishment getting into medical school, but now it's like, how do we make sure people are graduating medical school and they actually match into residency at the end of medical school? So again, we could provide scholarships to the medical students while in medical school. The other is you start taking licensing exams. When you are in medical school, you take the USMLE exams or COMELEX if you're an osteopathic student, and you take 2 which costs a couple $100. So, creating a scholarship for those licensing exams. And then the big thing that happens at the end of medical school during the summer of going into like the fall of your 4th year is that you apply to residency. And so that also costs money. Right now, post-COVID, a lot of the interviews that happen during the residency application process are virtual. So people are no longer traveling, so they don't necessarily have to pay for like flights and hotels, but there is some programs that are hosting interviews in person. So like providing support not only to submit the application to residency, but also support those who are going through the residency application process. And supporting with scholarships for that. During undergrad and medical school, I think, the opportunity for you all to continue providing scholarships or internships to students who are interested in collaborating with the district to do research. I think having local people collaborate with you all who have an interest in health, I think will only benefit the district, the community, and the student. And then lastly, the residency. So currently we have 2 residency programs locally. I think having a residency program that is collaborating with the FQHCs locally will definitely help us retain physicians who are going to practice at these FQHCs. Currently going to Scripps Chula Vista, they collaborate with San Isidro Health, which is the FQHC. That's where I'm going to be doing my outpatient clinical rotations. And they have a pretty good rate of those who graduate from the program. A lot of them end up working at San Isidro Health. So about half of them end up working at San Isidro Health. And so these are individuals that are able to create, are able to find a community within the time that they're completing residency. And so there's a higher chance that they're going to stay as opposed to, some physicians that come to the area just so that their loans are forgiven. And then once that time frame passes, they end up leaving. So I think there's definitely space for that. And yeah, I just wanted to end by saying that I appreciate the Desert Healthcare District and supporting me throughout medical school, especially when I was doing the research project. It was very rewarding. I think being able to go back to my community and kind of just ask them, what were their needs? And in a way, I think being from the community, a lot of the times we kind of know what the needs are, but it was nice to just hear it from them and having them also think of ideas in which we could increase the healthcare workforce was interesting as well. But I'll just leave it up to any questions if you guys have any questions based on what I shared.
Thank you, Mariela. Any questions? Comments?
Comment. Mariela, I just want to say congratulations on a tough job that you had, the dedication to that got you through the long years, 2010 to 2014, that you didn't give up despite the challenges along the way. I'm really proud to know that you came from CV High School. Go CV High. alumni here. Just wishing you the best in your residency program and hoping that you will come back after you're done.
Thank you.
Mariella, I'd like to offer you congratulations as well. I'm a former hospital administrator and spent my life in teaching hospitals, but I also started my career in Detroit, Michigan, which is a DO state. And over my career, I've come to the conclusions that DOs are actually better internal medicine physicians than your colleagues who are MDs. So you're on the right path, in my opinion. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Marielle, I just want to say congratulations too. I've had the pleasure of knowing you for a while with your advocacy work in the Eastern Coachella Valley, as well as List to Rise. And it's really great to see how far you've come, especially as Director Dellara said, with challenges. I experienced those same financial challenges in college, so understand that. I really like your point a lot about the residency programs in the FQ system, and we're working on actually that type of program hopefully in the near future. So again, congratulations. And I think a lot of us would like to see you come back to the Coachella Valley and practice here. So.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, that's the plan. So hopefully once I'm done with residency, my goal is to work at the local FQHC. So hopefully sooner than later.
Well, just remember my name because I chair the county's FQ board, so I might be able to help out with that. Not promising anything.
I think the meeting is being recorded, so.
Yeah. I don't care, to be honest. That's part of my job is to recruit. Any other questions for the public at all? All right, thank you so much for your time, Mariella.
Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you.
All right, with that, we'll adjourn for 10 minutes before the foundation.
Great, 10 minutes.
5 minutes, maybe just to wrap up,
Five,
right?
yeah, I'm fine with that.
We're gonna do the closed session first, or?
No, we're gonna do the foundation first and then,
Okay, okay.
because that way staff is gonna leave.
So we'll come back, Arthur and Carol at 5:07?
5:07.